Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be flipping through my 2023 Hobonichi Cousin. This was my main planner, journal, and memory keeper for the entire year. And as you can see, it has grown super chunky. There were even months in the middle where I stopped using it daily. So it would have been even more chunky if I had kept up with this for the entire year. But yeah, before we begin, I need to apologize for any background noise that you guys hear. I do live next to a busy street, so I can't control the traffic. But yeah, let's get into it. So in the beginning here, I have a bunch of stickers from TCMC. I absolutely love the Four Seasons collection that she did. And then I have the I Collect stickers and I Am Creative. And then this Hobonichi cover came with this little one-piece ephemera. So I just kept it here in the pocket. And then here I have this little You Rock card from TCMC. And then I have this orders tracker that I don't use, but it came as a freebie, so I just stuck it in here. And I also have a little memo pad sheet that I like the aesthetic of, so I keep it in here as well. I feel like the ocean theme goes with One Piece. So we're gonna stick everything back. And then flipping the page, here I have This Planner Belongs To and more, another TCMC sticker. And then over here, in the beginning of the weekly section, you'll see that my time blocking was color coded. So green was for work, this purplish color was for schoolwork, gray was classes, orange was video editing, and pink was studying for the CFA. And then these numbers mean like the exact Tombow color. So this is number 158 on the Tombow. And then over here I have my key for my to-do list. And so the ones that I use most frequently are in progress and complete, which is a slash and a cross. And then I have arrows for moved forward or moved to previous day, because sometimes I will write my to-do list for the next day and then I'll end up actually doing something on the to-do list on the day previous. And then a circle is a memory and a straight line is canceled. So here you'll see I covered up this calendar with TCMC stickers. I don't really use this page, so I just like to have something cute and aesthetic on the front. And then over here, I was using the 2024 calendar to do a little bit of planning for trips that I want to go on in 2024. And you can see pink means I go to shows or I am going home to New York. Orange means a long vacation. Green was weekend vacation. And blue meant day trip. So I kind of color coded those, and then I circled the days that I have off from work as federal holidays. And now flipping to the yearly calendar. You can see in January, I tried to do habit tracking and I was pretty good about it for the entire month, but then I completely fell off. And in the bottom here, I have plan with me's, journal with me's, vlogs, weight loss, books read, and movies and shows, because I was also tracking those. And you can see those also went unfilled. And so then in June, I tried to do the indexing method where you write down a major thing that happened on that day so that you don't have to like flip through all of your daily pages to actually see the memories. You can just quickly get a glance of stuff from here. And it lasted all of 2 days. I just didn't really like that method. And so I ignored this section up until November. And then I didn't like fully keep up with this, but basically I went on a no spend challenge. And so to help me track that habit, I am using this to track every time that I spend money. And so on these little boxes that have the Japanese character of the day of the week, I am filling it in with a color. So green means I spent nothing that day. Orange means I spent something on a necessity, like groceries or car gas or something. Pink means I spent something on a want. So like stationery, for example. And then this like grayish color means that I spent something on a really want. For example, here I have zoo membership. So things that pertain to experiences, I put as a really want, whereas things that are more material things, I put as a want. And then you can see I didn't fully keep up with it in December, but I liked the idea of this. So this is how I am using this section of the cousin in my 2024 cousin. And then we move on to the monthly pages. So here you can see I didn't fully keep up with it every single month, but I think I did a decent job where on every single day I would write something good that happened that day. So for example, December 1st, I got a needed chill rest day. And then December 2nd, I had lots of junk journaling. And December 3rd, I went to Gray's Cafe and North Shore Diner and I put up the Christmas tree. And the next day, I watched Wednesday, episode 1, etc. And then on the sidebar here, I put accomplished. So this could be finished a book, survive finals, so much home cleaning and decluttering, and then good times. So this was study cafes with my boyfriend, so much happy mail, etc. So this gives me a really good, like at a glance view of everything that happened in the month, all of the happy memories that I have and everything that I accomplished. And so I don't do any decorating. I like this to be very simple, minimalist, no frills type of setup. And yeah. This is also how I am using this section for 2024, just very simple layout. Here, the pink is my spring break. And you can see that my good moments vary significantly from like big things like April's graduation. This was my sister's graduation, or like seeing a Broadway show, to something small like I watched Jin's interview with Youngjin. It's basically like Youngjin is a Korean rapper who has a really funny personality, and she has a show called Nothing Much Prepared where she interviews Korean celebrities at her house. And I watched the episode with Jin from BTS and it was hilarious. So it's something small, like a funny video. Or like here, I got a free donut from Krispy Kreme. Or here I got a free scoop from Haagen-Dazs. So my good memories span from big things to really minor things. And you can see in the summer is when I started not using this planner as much. So there's a lot of blank days here. Because I think I backfilled a lot of this, but then because I wasn't using my daily pages as much, I had trouble backfilling it because I didn't have anything to look back on. And then September, you can see that I started to use this journal more, so it's a bit more filled out, but I didn't do the sidebar. October, and then November is when I got like fully back into the swing of things. And December, I usually like backfill this at the end of the month based on my daily pages, but I just haven't gotten around to filling this out. I don't know if I will, because I am just so fully into my 2024 journals now. And then here, I did not need the January, February, and March pages for 2024 because I had my new planner. So I used it to track the books that I read here. And then on this side, I have the movies I watched and also the TV shows I watched. This is not actually 100% up to date. I think I stopped tracking it in December, but it's mostly up to date. It's just missing December. And also here I was tracking things for 2024. So the quote unquote done list are things that I've already bought tickets to. And then this page was all of the things that I would like to visit. Of course, I'm not going to visit all of these because I don't have the time or money for that. But it's just a list of ideas for places I might want to visit in 2024. And then here we get into the weekly section. So at the beginning of the year, I wasn't fully sure how to use this. So you can see that I was doing a bit of time tracking here, but it's super simple and no frills. I have some stickers from TCMC. And then here on this side, because I didn't use these pages, I did tracking for some of the food we had at home, like the staples. And then I also did a rough CFA study plan for what I wanted to study each month. And yeah, basically just some random stuff here. And then here you can see again, I barely was using these pages. I was doing a little bit of time blocking, but I still hadn't quite figured it out. At the bottom, I was planning out some videos that I wanted to post, and I didn't follow the schedule at all, really. And on the side, I was doing some weekly to-dos and some habit tracking that mostly went unfilled. And then here I'm doing the same thing where I'm time tracking my things, and I'm still barely using any stickers. I'm doing habit tracking, and this week I actually did use my habit trackers. And same layout still. You can see here I was starting to use the color coding from the very beginning here. So my 9 to 5 is blocked out, and then these are my classes in gray, and my CFA study time in pink. And I was doing weekly goals, and I was also trying to track what I studied every day for the CFA. And I was also doing habit tracking here, but you can see I didn't really fill this out a lot of weeks, and I was having trouble keeping up with these weekly sections. And then this week is when I started actually using my weekly sections on a daily basis and keeping up with them. And so I was pretty good about this for a little while. So you can see my habits and then what I studied for the CFA. this, I'm not quite sure. I think these were weekly goals. I didn't use it this week. And then I was just writing everything that happened, like specific things, and like time blocking everything that I did. And I was using a lot of deco. And also at the top here, I was putting the topics that I want to study for that day for the CFA. And you can see I really decked it out with stickers. It's a little bit overwhelming to look at now. See, I was still doing very well keeping up with my weekly section. Here, you can already start seeing I'm starting to use less stickers because I felt like before it was just too overwhelming. So there's less stickers now. I stopped using the weekly kits, and then here I think is when I stopped using the weekly section again. So now they're mostly empty. I pre-decorated some pages with the hopes of using them, but no, it didn't work. And then here in like early September is when I started getting back into using this journal. So I started using it in the same way, the habits with some goals. And then I left out like the grid tracker for my habits. And then here, I tried to do this type of habit tracking where I have the days of the week and the habits, and then I just cross it off with the color, green meaning yes, I did it, and red meaning no. This week I tried to do basically no decorations at all, and I don't think I like this. So after this, I started doing a washi tape on every week. And I think this is nice. It's very functional, but I think I still prefer having at least a few stickers in my spread. And then at the top, I wrote down the major memories of the day. And of course, some days are blank because nothing like really major happened that day. And I try not to write like small happy moments in here. And here again, I fell off a little. Fall off. And the last week I didn't use it at all. I was so excited to move into my new notebook that I neglected this. Now we have turning the page to a new year. I put in my 2023 resolutions. So we have health and wellness, education/professional, side hustles, and personal finance. And I actually, unfortunately, did not accomplish a lot of these things. And then I have word of the year is action and restraint. And then I have my bucket list, which I did accomplish a little bit of. but yeah. And then on the monthly page, here I have some monthly goals and my video schedule that I did not follow at all. And yeah, so here, this was my very first time using the Cousin. And so I was using this as just like a big journal section. I think this was also when I was like, I mean, it was New Year's, it was a holiday, so I didn't really have a to-do list, so I put everywhere we went. We were out and about in Manhattan and Chinatown, and so I did a huge journaling spread about that. And the next day, yeah, basically, I was just doing lots of journaling. I did a little bit of writing with Tombos, but mostly it's just a lot of writing. I have my to-do list on the sidebar. Then here, oh, I was like hand making some Christmas journal ornaments, so I finished those, and then I watched several episodes of Comey Can't Communicate, and I wrote down a quote from their opening. Here, I think I finished Tell the Wolves I'm Home. Yeah, I just finished reading the book. And so I wrote about my response to the book, and I also wrote a quote from near the end of the book. Next, my sister came home from college, and this is just random journaling. Okay, and then my boyfriend and I watched Rolf Breaks the Internet. So this day was fun. I went to see a Broadway show, and then we went to Virgil's Real Barbecue and Grace Street, and I did a little doodle of the desserts we got. Then the next day, I see my Sad Shrimps Patreon rewards came, and my Simply Gilded subscription box came. Then the next day, I think I started this book called The Broken Ladder. And here, I put a sticker for wake up early because that was what I was planning to do. And then I have a little squiggly that says, did not succeed. Woke up right before 9 a.m. Whoops. And here, I went to go see Death of a Salesman on Broadway. And then I also went to the Hershey store before that. So I have a little haul here. And then after this, the next few days are my Philly trip. So I have the travel information, and then we stayed at Sonder the Mint. This is the hotel information, and we went to visit Franklin Square. And here I have like a little takeout box because we ordered Mediterranean food at Moynihan's Hall, which is in Penn Station. And yeah. And then the next day, we went to 3J's Cafe, which is a little local cafe in Philly. And in the middle of the day, while we were resting back at the hotel, we watched the Guardians holiday special and Matilda, the musical. And then I have a list of all of the things we went or saw that day. So it included the United States Mint, the Independent Visitor Center, Liberty Bell, President's House site, etc. And I like that I have this list, so I don't have to read through all of this to know exactly what I did that day. And then the next day, I have this list again of places we went. So it included Reading Terminal Market, Chinatown Friendship Arc, City Hall, yada yada. And then I have this big doodle for this restaurant that we went to called Bistro La Minette. It's a French restaurant, so I apologize for my pronunciation, but basically, we happened to go to Philly during their restaurant week, and so this was one of the restaurants participating, and it was so freaking delicious. It was hands down one of the best restaurants either of us had ever been to. And so this is lamb shank, and this is chicken breast with some mash. This had spinach with it. And we also got 2 drinks, and one of these was an S tier drink. And yeah. Then the next day, MLK Day, is when we came back home. So I have my bus information. We did do a little bit of sightseeing before we left. So this is the list of places we went. And then a potential change of plans. This is when I was just like very frustrated with work, and so I was just ranting about work and how pissed I am, basically, and how I want to leave. Spoiler alert, I did not leave. But yeah, the next day I didn't do much journaling. I think this was just a regular day of working. It looks like I was a little bit pissed at work. And then after this, my TCMC order arrived. And I also tried baking rosemary olive oil sourdough. Oh no, sorry. This is from Reading Terminal Market that I got in Philly. So I got a rosemary olive oil sourdough, and it was delicious. I rated it 5 stars. And then what's the Cheez-Its fail? Oh, okay. So, Cheez-Its fail. I said, I did have a tummy ache halfway, and I realized the only thing that I ate for lunch today were Cheez-Its. Only Cheez-Its. No, this can't ever happen again. So, that's funny. And then after this, it looks like, Misako Floatin' is an artist on YouTube, and I found her channel today and I really liked it. And then I also ordered Girl Scout cookies through my company. I think one of the employees' daughters was selling Girl Scout cookies. And then I was just a little bit stressed out, so I put down these stickers. It's okay, don't stress. Here, this was Chinese New Year. So here I wrote down what I cooked for the day. My Casetify order also arrived this day. And yeah, just a bunch of random journaling. The next day, I cooked more stuff for the new year. This was me ranting about stuff. Oh, we watched Ant-Man today. That's fun. Yeah. And then the next day, I finished reading the book, The Hunt, and it was my second book of the year, and so I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Just random stuff that I was writing about. And then here my boyfriend and I impromptuly decided to watch Puss in Boots, the movie. So yeah, I have movie night and the sticker here, and I put this random sticker here from Franert. I don't know why. I don't think this has anything to do with anything. And then the next page, here I had my final for one of my classes, and then I also got Thai takeout for lunch. And it's the first day of school. Oh my gosh. It's the first day of school. So this was my class. This was not a final. It's way too early to be having finals. I don't know what I was thinking. And I also finished watching Comey Can't Communicate, and I gave it 4 stars. And here, this was like a lot of productivity things that I did. It looks like cleaning stuff. Yeah, a lot of cleaning stuff that I did. I have cleaning day here. So yeah, that was that. And then the next day, TXT released Sugar Rush Ride, and so I did a lot of journaling about that. And I also made black sesame cookies, so I wrote down a very, very abbreviated version of the recipe here. This is from mochimami.com. It turned out pretty good, so I'll leave it in the description. And then there's Translation of Love. I think I started reading this book today. Yeah, read Translation of Love. And then on the next day, we had a family dinner at this restaurant called Dongbei Da Pai Dang. So I wrote the Chinese characters, and then I also wrote the pinyin here so that I could read it. And then I have this little sticker because I looked cute today. The next day I went to my boyfriend's house, and it looks like we watched a movie, Pinocchio. The one that was directed by Guillermo del Toro. And so I wrote that the animation was really beautiful and the story was heartwarming. And then next, it looks like it was payday. I think I did some exercise this day. See, it's really hard to tell what happened this day because, like, on each day, because I don't have big, like, headings or call outs for what happened. I guess I went to a bookstore called Book Off. And then on the next day, I don't want to read through this, whatever. And now we're in February. So here again, I have my monthly goals, and then I have a video schedule, which I posted one video of. And then I also have a list of books that I wanted to finish. And okay, I'm gonna start talking faster and like not going through every single page because I've been filming for way too long and I'm only on February, which is crazy. So here, I watched the Four Towns performance at some gala, which was really great. And I finished editing a vlog. And also my TCMC order came. The next day, I finished reading a book, Life is Short and So is This Book. I rated it 3 stars. I watched RM's Tiny Desk performance, and I also started reading Edgar Allan Poe's, or like listening to Edgar Allan Poe's collection of short stories on Spotify. And I used a journaling prompt, My Perfect Breakfast, and I wrote a little bit about that. I also, here on this day, I did a little journaling prompt of This is how I refresh. And I have fuck this shit sticker again, so I was probably upset about work again. Next day, I had a pizza bagel. Cool. And then this was a big cleaning day. It looks like I also binged a lot of junk food. And then, yeah, I don't know what happened this day. Next. Oh, I made peanut butter oatmeal cookies and I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It tasted all right, but it was healthy, so that gave it an extra star. And then here, I got an extra pizza, so I delivered it to my boyfriend. Oh, over here, I started watching Bee and Puppy Cat. I love that show. It's so cute and cozy. And, oh, I also painted my nails red. That's fun. I had Rolly Kimbap, and oh, my boyfriend had his middle class fancy housewarming this day. That was fun. Oh, and I guess you can see I was doing like a weekly theme. So starting from the 6th on Monday, it was a Tangled theme. And I was using these kits because I think these were for like a regular vertical planner, not a cousin. And so I was just using it as deco on my pages. And then here I have this kit I forgot what the store name is called. But yeah, I was using this like magical type of kit. And I changed my air purifier filter. I finished this book, The Broken Ladder. It was 4 out of 5 stars. And it was Valentine's Day, but I did not hang out with my boyfriend. And then I watched Child of Kamiyari Month online this day. It was pretty good. Here I started watching The Way of the House Husband. And then the next day, I think I spent a lot of the day dreaming of future homes interior design. I'm so excited for whenever I buy a house, because I'm gonna have so much fun decorating it. And then the next day, I had a big gym day apparently, and I also rewatched Princess Mononoke. I think I rewatched it with my boyfriend. And then my sister came home again from college. And yeah, I have a Netflix sticker here, so I'm guessing I watched something on Netflix. Maybe? No, I don't think I did. I don't know. I didn't write it down. And then on this day, I watched X-Men Days of Future Past. I did not like the movie, unfortunately. But yeah, I had a day off. And then this was pancake day, and I had planned to make pancakes, but I actually didn't. And then this day, I really like the way I decorated this page. These stickers, I think this is from Cheyenne Barton. It's a mix of Cheyenne Barton and I forgot where these are from. If I remember, I will put it in the description, or if someone recognizes them and can comment what it is, please let me know, because I don't remember where these are from off the top of my head. Yeah, this day I learned how to pump gas. That was a milestone. I had another gym day, and then, we watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. It was all right. And then, it was the SAG Awards, and Everything Everywhere All at Once won really big, so I jotted that down, and I was feeling happy this day. And then this day we had our first real snow. I think before this we had just like a tiny dusting, but then this one was the first time where snow actually fell and stuck on the ground. Now we're in March. So, on the first day I have some goals, and then I have some habit trackers I did not keep up with, and I also have the topics that I wanted to study, and I got through a decent amount. Like, this was my goal, these were my reach goals, and yeah, I got through most of it. So on this day, it looks like I had a productive day. I had homework due today, and yeah. And then here, I think I was eating really poorly previously, so I wanted to try a 24-hour fast, and I did actually succeed. It was really tough, but I did. And then on this day, I broke my fast, and I also made chili oil, so I did a little doodle of all the ingredients. And here, my boyfriend and I watched Homecoming. It was Homecoming. And then here, TCMC 7-year anniversary. I put the coupon code there, and I did a lot of journaling about what I ordered and my thoughts on the theme. On this day, my Girl Scout cookies arrived, and I felt so tired. The dance practice for Kepler's I Do You came out, which I really enjoyed. And then there was a really crazy curve for one of my quizzes because the grades were really bad. And here I received a book in the mail and I got full score on a homework. The next day, I finished reading The Translation of Love and I gave it a rating here, 4 out of 5 stars. This was book number 5 of the year. Here I spent the day with my boyfriend, which was why I put this sticker here. And then the next day we watched Thor Ragnarok and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars and I said it was fun and badass. Here I said, honestly, it's the 21st when I'm writing this and I don't have the foggiest idea of what happened this day. Oops, oh well. C'est la vie, or however you spell it. I know what I mean. Okay, now the page is almost filled, so I guess this is good enough. Hooray! The next day it was a study day. And then I had a final this day, so I put student tears. The final was actually fine. I finished super quickly. And yeah. It looks like I got mail from Once More with Love. So I got those stickers, washi tape. This day was St. Patrick's Day, so I tried to use all of my green washi, and I hung out. Sorry, that was the oven. But I hung out with my boyfriend and we went to get soup dumplings. The next day we watched Shazam! Fury of the Gods in theaters, and I gave it 3.5 stars because it was cheesy but entertaining. And then I put Taste the Rainbow because it seems like they were sponsored by Skittles or something. And here we went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, so I just did a whole spread about that movie. And I did a little quote here. We also, it looks like, went to Applebee's for lunch. And this is just a big page of writing. I'm not gonna read this. I'm not reading that either. Here I was back journaling, and so I said my overall beauty philosophy, and I did a little bit of journaling about that. And then I also put my S tier visuals, in my opinion. Here I was more back journaling. I put my favorite animal. Oh, this day, my boyfriend and I met up with one of his old friends, Terrell, at Mizumi Buffet, and I did a full spread about journaling about that, and it was a really great time. The next day, we watched Black Panther together, and I also got some Happy Mail, which I did not write down what it was. And the next day I finished reading The Last Camellia. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. And my dad got me 2 egg tarts, which are one of my favorite desserts. I also bought 2 pairs of eyeglasses from I Buy Direct. And then after that, I bought a standing desk and an underdesk walking pad from Amazon. And I also received my order from Temu, which included lots of socks, heart towels, a mini rug. And then here, my TCMC order arrived. So I used a lot of the stickers and washi that arrived. The next day, it seems like it was just a regular busy day. And on this day, I built my cart for stationery. And it was also payday. Cool. So in April, I did the same thing where I have my goals. I have the topics of the CFA that I want to study, which I did pretty much everything. And then I also have my habit tracker, which I actually kept up with this time. This day we watched Deadpool and I made chicken curry, and then I did some back journaling. So I wrote about my dream career, And on this day, we watched Avengers Infinity War. I rated it 3 stars and I said, what the fuck is the ending? And then here I started a new book called The Firefly Summer by Morgan Matz. It's a middle school level book, but it's really good. And so I did a doodle of the cover and some of the illustrations on the back cover. And I was running late because New Jersey Transit was super late today. And on the next day, it looks like I got some skincare items. And yeah. Then April 5th, my glasses from I Buy Direct arrived, and I also watched Lee Moo Jin Service, which is a Korean like singing show for Jimin from BTS and Hani from New Jeans. And then on the next day, my order from DFTBA, which is the company that John and Hank Green have, it arrived, and I made lamb stew, which was really good, and I took my lemon and grapefruit plants out. After this, I made a protein banana nut bread, which was pretty good. I think I tried to make it a little too healthy, so it was all right. And then my mom got sick. Then on April 9th, apparently, I think this is Easter, and I went and hung out with my boyfriend and his brother. We went to CD Restaurant and Sybil's Bakery, and we got lots of yummy stuff. And then on the 10th, I finished reading The Last Summer, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 star rating. I also heard New Jeans Zero for the first time, and I wrote about my thoughts on it. Then here on these 2 days, I got 2 orders from Prosy. So I just did a big doodle of the stuff that I got. Then here, my mom gave me these like rolling pens with these fun shapes, and so I tried to swatch it here, but because my notebook is uneven from all of the tapes and stickers I have, it didn't work very well. And then my mom's birthday was today, so we went out to dinner with our aunt, and I also bought a new PC on this day. And then on the next day, here I was back journaling on November 17th, but yeah, I didn't do too much journaling. I think I just watched IU Palette with Suga on YouTube, and it was just another chill day. Then here, I went to the gym with Mick, my boyfriend, and then my aunt came over and we just played cards until 3 a.m. And I successfully held back from eating fried foods. Nice. And here was a slow day. So not much happened. And then it was a gloomy day, unfortunately. And the next day, it seems like things got a bit better. I had a group project due today. Oh, never mind. I said, I feel tired and unmotivated. Huh. And then here, my new desktop arrived today. That was good. Oh, here. I watched Suzume with my boyfriend in theaters, and it was so freaking good. It was 5 out of 5 stars. I said it was so amazing with the underlines and everything and exclamation points. I said, I feel changed, LOL. Then here, my order from Shein arrived, and these are my 3 favorite items that I doodled. I also played a lot of Stardew Valley this day. And then on Saturday, I made banana bread, and we watched Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then Sunday, it looks like I was just gaming most of the day. Or no, I did a lot of studying and then I gamed. Oh, and we watched Captain Marvel. And then it looks like on this day I started reading Ask the Passengers by A.S. King, and I also got my new yoga mat and my Patreon mail from Ruth Spear. And this day I bought a lot of tickets to Broadway shows because my birthday and my graduation was coming up next month. So I got tickets to all of these shows, and then these last two I still needed to buy tickets to them. I actually ended up not buying tickets to them, so I still haven't seen these two. But yeah. And then today was a very mundane day, not much happened. Cool. On this day, it looks like I started my seeds for the garden, which is fun. And on the 28th, I went to watch Super Mario Bros. With my boyfriend, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And here we went to Applebee's and Chip Cookies. And then my boyfriend had his first Valorant game for Premiere, which was a competition, and they won. So it was 16-15. The next day, I had a really big study day, and then at night, I watched Avengers Endgame with my boyfriend, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And now we're at May. So you can see I've been pretty consistent with my journal up until this point, and I use the monthly pages the same way with my habit trackers that I did not keep up with, my goals, and then the things that I wanted to study, which again, I did the vast majority of them, which I'm very happy about. And on this day, I finished reading Ask the Passengers by A.S. King. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I got another book in the mail called Don't Read Poetry. Here, we went out to dinner with my aunt and... Oh, no, sorry. He came over for dinner. So my aunt's boyfriend came over for dinner, and he bought over some alcohol, which was good. And then I watched an episode of Run BTS. And here I said, I met Peter today. It was interesting and slightly awkward, but overall it was a good time. And then here it looks like it was just a regular day. I had a quiz and I ate a lot of junk food. And then the next day, this is when I started falling out a little bit. So here I went to rewatch Suzume in theaters with my boyfriend. And I also watched The Way of the House Husband and Such with the RM with August D on YouTube and Netflix, respectively. And then the next day we went to see Guardians 3 with my boyfriend and a bunch of friends. And before that, we went to play billiards. And then here, we went on a little cruise just around Manhattan for one of my friend's mom's birthday. And I said jam out to Pirates of the Caribbean because the playlist that they curated, it started with Pirates of the Caribbean as we were setting sail. So that was fun. And then this is my very, very terrible doodle of us on the boat. And I just put a bunch of pictures of us on the cruise because I had nothing to journal about on the next day. And then here you can see I tried to back journal, but then I just wrote the prompt and then I never actually filled it out. So you'll see this on a few other pages as well. But yeah, cool. Here again, a journal prompt that I never filled out. Here I wrote exploding eggs because hey, I made a little boo-boo today. I wanted to make marinated eggs, so I put eggs in a pot to boil and completely forgot about them. Got sucked into a hole that started with a reel. I'll get into that in a second. But then in the middle of my happiness, I heard a huge boom. And my first thought was, what the fuck fell? And then I smelled the burning and went, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. When I got to the kitchen, I saw that my eggs had exploded and flew/splattered everywhere. The force was like a grenade. So yeah, that's the exploding egg story. And then on this day, I pasted in some pictures, but basically me and my mom went out to eat. It was Flushing Restaurant Week, and so we decided to try a restaurant called Chi, something like that, and it was 5 out of 5 stars. It was so freaking good. I wrote lunch with mommy, and I wrote down the 3 dishes that came with the meal, and then I watched some Unpretty Rap Star and Limujin service. So yeah, it was a really great day. The next day, I went to see Oliver at New York City Center, and then I also bought some stuff: shaved ice museum, bottle cleaning set, and tumbling composter. So cool. And then this day I went to spend it with my boyfriend, and I helped him with his poster. He got accepted into a conference, and he didn't want to go all the way to Hawaii, which is where the conference was held. So instead he mailed a poster with his research instead. And then we went to Kokio Chicken, and we also got japchae from the Korean supermarket. The next day, it was Mother's Day, and so we went to this restaurant called Hot Space, and it was really, really good. I forgot to paste in pictures here, but at least I have this to look back on. And then after this, okay, it looks like nothing much happened this day, but I did sign up for a bunch of birthday rewards because my birthday was in 5 days. So I did Baskin Robbins, Applebee's, Einstein's, Jersey Mike's, Haagen-Dazs, Krispy Kreme, all that. And I had a headache on Tuesday. And then I got a super exciting package in the mail today. It's the Kickstarter pack for Cosmic Spectrum Art's new book, Prism. I wasn't expecting it, so it was an amazing surprise. The package came with a tote bag, 2 art prints, postcards, a bookmark, a sketchbook, and the art book. And then here I had another test for a class, and I also played Stardew Valley after the test. And then this week, it was still Flushing Restaurant Week, so my mom and I went to a restaurant called Young and Rich, New York, and it was so good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and then I also bought some berry plants online. This day, this was fun. Me and my boyfriend went to Brooklyn, and we met up with 2 new friends called Sarah and Ian, and then we just had a really good time. The next day, we had a family dinner at East Restaurant. And then I got a birthday gift from one of my friends. It was a 1-piece bowl and chopstick set, which was so, so cool. And then I was originally planning on going to have a lunch date with my boyfriend, but unfortunately, on the way there, I was in such a rush and so excited to see him that I actually got into a car crash. And so I ended up not going to see him, sadly. Yeah, I made a big oopsie this morning, which totally ruined my morning plans. Happy birthday to me, I guess. Fantastic. Here, my niece had her baptism, so we went to that. And then the next day, I got my free ice cream scoop from Haagen-Dazs. And on the 23rd, I had a final. and my mom came back with treats. I think she met up with her friends, and then her friends baked a lot of really yummy desserts. So there was coconut jelly, red bean soup, layered mochi. It was so good. And then I have this little sticker, "You got this," because I was so close to finishing my master's program, but I was starting to run out of steam. And then on this day, I went and saw Parade on Broadway, and it was amazing. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And the next day, we went to Amherst because my sister was graduating. And this is a doodle of all the stuff that we ate for dinner that day. We went to a Chinese restaurant in the town. And this was my sister's actual graduation day, so I just put a bunch of photos. I had really meant to journal about this. I bought my journal with me on the trip, but I never got around to filling it out. So, yeah. The next day we came back from Amherst and I went into the city. I got free froyo from Pinkberry for my birthday, and then I also went to see New York, New York on Broadway, which was, it wasn't that good, unfortunately. And then here I went and met up with my aunt, and we went to When in Bangkok, which was so good. My aunt, it was her first time trying Thai food, and she wasn't a big fan because everything is a little bit sweet and she doesn't like that. But I thought it was fantastic. So we got a bunch of different dishes, and yeah. Oh, it was Memorial Day too. And then on Tuesday, after work, I went to see Kimberly Akimbo. I did not journal about it, but the show was very, very good. I would recommend. And then the next day, my boyfriend and I went to see The Little Mermaid after work, and then it looks like we went to, I think this was Outback Steakhouse? I don't know. It was some chain restaurant that we went to, and it was really good, but it was way too salty. Their bread was so good though. We ate so much of the bread. And then here, okay, June is when I really fell off with using this notebook. So there's a lot of blank pages starting from here up until like September. And you can see I tried to backfill some of it, but I was not successful. I think I just gave up. Yeah. I put some pictures in here to backfill some of the days. Oh, here I went bowling. And so I put the scores up. My boyfriend did super well. He scored 132 and 106. The rest of us did poorly. Here is when I started doing memories in these little dots, because I didn't feel like writing a full thing, but I did want to record what happened during the day. So I just started writing little bullet points. And then this is actually from June 9th, but I filled up that page with stickers, so I put the pictures here. And then this is when I was trying to get back in and I didn't really know what to journal about, so I just wrote down the news. Like literally this is verbatim copied from the news. And so I did this for 2 days and then I stopped. And here my friend gave us stickers and some washi tape, so I just filled up the entire page with stickers. And then the next day I put more pictures to backfill. Oh, here I had empty pages, so I was just using the page to like plan out the setup of our apartments. And we ended up actually not even renting out this apartment. So it was for no reason that I have these. But yeah, I was very excited because I really thought we were going to rent out this apartment. Alas. And then here I have a little picture of our dinner, which was really good. Oh, this restaurant, I forgot to put the name of the restaurant, but it was this Thai restaurant and it was so delicious. We got pho and oh my freaking god, it was so good. Oh, this day it was Father's Day, so then we went to this Korean barbecue spot called Won Barbecue, and it was pretty good. It was 4 out of 5 stars. So I put down some pictures. And then the next day, I did no journaling, but there is a hot pot sticker because my boyfriend and I went to get hot pot together. Here, you can see I was really trying to get back into this journal, but it didn't really work. So more empty pages. Oh, this page, we went to a restaurant. Yeah. Trying to backfill, my boyfriend and I went to a restaurant together. More empty pages. This is just a picture of the lunch I made. Oh, my TCMC subscription box came. So I like put the washi tapes here. And then here, my sister gave me this washi tape. I don't know where she got it from, but she knew I would like it. And then here, one of our friends had a Hindu wedding, so then we went to attend it. And then the next day, oh, you can see July, I did no goal setting in July. But the next day here was the reception. So I just posted a bunch of photos. And then on Sunday, I met up with my boyfriend again, and this was the lunch that we had. Wait a minute. I thought this was on Saturday. I think this was on Saturday too. Yeah. More blank pages. Here we went out to eat, so I have pictures at least. My boyfriend's birthday. We did not celebrate on this day because it's a work day, but yeah. And then Saturday, we went to Queen's Night Market, so I posted a bunch of the pictures that we got, of the food that we got. And then here, I meant to journal, but I never got around to it. My boyfriend and I went on a little day trip to Stamford and Greenwich, Connecticut. And these are the pictures from that trip. But yeah. So more blank pages. Here we went out to a restaurant. And we went out to another restaurant. This day, I think we had fun this day. Because based on the pictures, it looks like we went out to do something. But I don't even have pictures from this day. So I don't know what we did. This day, we met up with friends for K-barbecue. And then, oh, here I was backfilling. So I would just search up Google's Doodles. And I would search the dates, so July 18th. And I would just pick one randomly to put in here. So this was Oscar Scala. He was an electronic music composer and physicist. And the next day I made lemon egg tarts, which were really good. And here again, I was backfilling. So it starts here, but I made Guyanese style chicken curry. So I have the ingredients and then the recipe on 2 pages. And on this page, we went to see Barbie in theaters. So I have pictures from that day. And we also went to Panera Bread and we went to Queen's Night Market. So I have that here. This day I bought a tomato bread from Panera. So this was my breakfast. The bread with some sausage and eggs. And then here I started watching My Happy Marriage on Netflix and it was so good. I was crying so hard. More back journaling about Jean Barrette, who was a French botanist and explorer. And then here I have a picture of some fancy buns that we tried from the Chinese supermarket. This was my boyfriend's friend's birthday. So I have a picture of the cake, and I did not journal about the day, but we just stayed at his house and played board games, basically. And then on this day, my boyfriend and I watched Japan Sinking on Netflix. It was all right. I didn't like it that much. And I also got some takeout. And then another blank page. So here I started to do a little bit of goal setting again and study goals. But again, not much journaling. I backfilled it with some pictures. And then this day, my TCMC washi pre-orders came, so I could fill up the page with that. Oh, this page, woohoo! Mick and I signed the lease on our apartment today. I'm so excited I can't focus on anything else, LOL. I'm binging apartment tour videos. And then this day, my order from Every Minute a Story arrived. I absolutely love this Winnie the Pooh washi tape. It's so cute. So yeah, lots of blank pages. I put a sticker dump here just to fill up the page. And then I had my CFA test today, and I also went out to dinner with my family. Another sticker dump to fill up some space. And then my boyfriend and I went to watch Blue Beetle on this day, and then we got lunch at some chicken spot. And then my mom and I went to Chinatown on this day, and I hurt my hand, which is why we went. We went to see like a Chinese medicine guy there, and then we had lunch in Chinatown. Yeah, lots of blank pages. This day I moved into the new apartment, so this is a picture of all the boxes we had, and I have this big moving sticker, which is also why the day before I said don't look back. And then here, we went shopping for furniture for a place. So I just put a bunch of pictures. And then this is from brunch. We went to a restaurant near us for brunch. The next day we got donuts and pizza. And yeah, we got sushi as well. And I guess we got more donuts. And then here. I think this was the first meal that I cooked in the new apartment, so I documented it. And then we got some Guyanese pastries. And here we went to a friend's house for barbecue, so this was the food, and this was their amazing dogs. Just more backfilling. Or sorry, more empty pages that I did not backfill. It looks like these washi tapes arrived today, so I just stuck them down. And then I had a durian mooncake on this day, which was very delicious. I am super busy. It looks like I was busy. On this day, I was using my flow tracker for my period, and it told me that I have symptoms of PCOS. So I started panicking about that. And that's when I officially started my diet. And I also bought an Apple Watch on this day to help me track my fitness. And then this day I went back home. So this was the dinner my mom cooked, and we also picked up the Comic-Con passes. October again, you can see no goal setting. I just have a bunch of credit card bills because I had a lot of bills from the move. And we started watching the One Piece live action on October 1st. And then we finished the very next day. And the third, oh my God, I found out that I passed the CFA level 1, which was a huge surprise to me. Like I said, I am shocked. I was so certain I had failed that I had already started restudying the curriculum, but I actually passed. I had to reread the email so many times because I simply couldn't believe it. Here, this was backfilled with, again, just like searching on Google Doodles. More backfilling. This was a journal prompt. And then more backfilling. I really tried to backfill, but I got demotivated because there was just too much. Comic-Con day 1. And then we had an adulting day where we did laundry and we cleaned. And then Comic-Con day 2. Plus we met up with friends afterwards for dinner. And then here, I really like this little doodle, but I finished reading the book Rooftoppers by Catherine Rundell, and it was 4 out of 5 stars. It's like a middle school level book, and I really liked it. I thought it was really fun. On this day, my 2024 Hobonichi order arrived. Here, you can see I had these stickers, so I was trying to do highlights for each day. It did not last very long. I think, yeah, it only lasted these 2 days. But it was fun while it lasted. And here, I was obsessed with McKenny for a little while from One Piece. And then this was back journaling, I think. My dad turned 60 on this day, so we had a big celebration and we went out to eat. The next day we went to Costco and then we played cards with my aunt. And then here I went back home to New Jersey and I didn't journal on this day, so this was back journaling with 2 prompts. This was more back journaling. More back journaling and back journaling. You can see my favorite villains that I'm scared of. Oh, here we've started watching the TV show Miss Marvel, and I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I had a rough work day. Oh, we tried Wingstop for the first time, and oh my god, it was so good. The lemon pepper is out of this world. I said, that lemon pepper was crazy with 3 Ys. It was so crunchy, and the lemon pepper flavor was the perfect balance of salty, savory, and brightness. Wow, just wow. And then here, it looks like grandma died, but no. She was living with us for a little while, and then on this day, she finally moved out, and my boyfriend's brother took her. So, yeah. Then I have October favorites, did some journaling about that, and this was Halloween. So I bought some things from the bakery. I got 2 guava pastries, 2 mousse cakes, 2 Halloween cupcakes, and 1 Halloween cake pop. November, I did just a little bit of journaling, of goal setting, and then I have some journal prompts for when I have nothing to journal about. And yeah, starting from here, all of November, I was pretty good about keeping up with my journal. I didn't do too much back journaling. Here we went to the zoo, and it was also my niece's birthday, so we went to her birthday celebration. It was Mickey Mouse themed. And yeah, I made some good steak this day. I think this week of journaling is my favorite. I love the way that I laid out these pages. And then, okay, this is when I started making headers. And I kept up with this for the rest of the year and into this year, because this makes looking back on my entries so much easier. I can just see, oh, I had a mouse problem, and then I went to Food Bazaar and we started watching Zom 100, instead of like having to look through this tiny little writing to see what we did. I mean, I had a few like stickers to see what happened that day, but still, this way it's so much easier. So you can see we got a new car this day, and we went to Sarku, Japan. On this day, we went to see the Marvels, and we also went to a restaurant called Shanghai Time. And then November 12th was our housewarming party, so I did a lot of journaling about that. And then on the 13th, my TCMC subscription arrived, so I just put the washi tapes here. And here it was a typing test. I had a typing test that day, and so I just did a bit of journaling about that. And then the next day, it looks like nothing much happened. So after that, on the 16th, we watched Into the Spider-Verse, and it was solid 5 stars, so good. The animation was beautiful. And then on the 17th, I had a productive day, and I saw Chainsaw Man, or I watched Chainsaw Man, and it was 4 out of 5 stars. Or no, sorry. I finished reading the manga. Like the first arc, which is the public safety arc, and I gave that arc 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, and then on this day, the Mouse Saga. So I wrote a whole thing about how I almost caught the mouse, but he actually got off the trap. I said, however, this little guy eventually has the audacity to free himself? Seriously? Oh, the war is on. I will make this apartment a mouse's worst nightmare. They better get severe trauma if they ever come back. I was pissed, man. And then the next day, I got a free Frosty from Wendy's. I had a little coupon in the app. And here, since we got the car, we could switch gyms, and we went to Blink. And we restarted the membership. And then my order from Every Minute a Story arrived. Then the next day, I saw one of my coworkers at Blink, so I did a big journaling paragraph about that. And then we watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and it was pretty good. It was 4 out of 5 stars. The next day, I made a nice homemade Thanksgiving meal. It was baked herb and lemon chicken, roasted cinnamon carrots, roast broccoli, and mixed grain rice. So this is a little doodle of that. Then here, I wrote 10 things that I'm thankful for, and then my family went out to this restaurant called Hot Space for lunch, and it was delicious. And then my mom made some delicious feast for dinner. So I did doodles of lunch and dinner, and we also played Azul as a family after dinner. Here, I watched Once Upon a Crime, the movie, and I just did a little sketch of it. I rated it 3 stars, and this is a little picture from the 22nd. Then on Saturday, we went to Costco, and I did a doodle of some of the stuff that oh wait, it looks like this was actually Friday. I have a little note here. So we went to Costco, and then I think this was Saturday, though. My aunt came over, and we played this game called Boschrefin. So that was Saturday. And then Sunday, I went back home to New Jersey, and we put up the Christmas tree, because after Thanksgiving, you can officially put up the Christmas tree. And we also watched Loki season 2. We were going to split into 2 days, but we stayed up late to finish it because it was so good. We could not stop in the middle, you know, and it was 5 stars. And then here, this is pictures from Thanksgiving. So this was, I think, like the 23rd, I think. Yeah, these are pictures from the 23rd. Because I didn't really have much to journal on this day. The next day, I made chicken pot pie, so I put the recipe here, and it was so yummy. And then Wednesday, I did not journal. And here I just have my favorites for November, and I made some meat patties with rice and curry veggies. December, I have like a little bit of like personal finance budget related goals, but I did not really set goals for December. And then this day, I had a really yummy breakfast, it seems like. I had bread with brie, jam, and cranberries, and then I prepped some scallions and froze them. And I watched an episode or 2 episodes of TXT's show, and my chapstick. I bought chapstick. This was a big deal for me because I usually don't like chapstick, but I had to admit defeat and get chapstick. And then on the 2nd, we went to the gym for cardio. This was our first time adding a Saturday cardio session to our weekly routine, and we kept it up. And then we went over to a friend's house for Friendsmas. On the 3rd, we went to see Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I personally loved. I thought it was 4.5 out of 5 stars. And then we walked around the mall. And I also ate noodles from this brand that had this little panda mascot, so I drew a little doodle of him. On the 4th, we went and saw a few Christmas houses, so I journaled about that. And then I made my personal budget for 2024, and I just did a little bit of journaling about that. I pretty much finalized my budget. And on the 5th, our order from Every Plate arrived, so I wrote down the recipes we got, and we tried the French onion chicken this day, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I did overcook the chicken. I think that was my fault, so I gave it the benefit of the doubt. And then we watched Across the Spider-Verse, and it was a solid 5 out of 5 stars. I know some people are going to come for me, but I think I liked this movie better than the first one. And then this was a tough and tiring day, so I just wrote about the 2 things that made it tough and tiring. This day, I tried the pork, sausage, and roasted pepper penne from Every Plate, and it was delicious. It was a solid 5 out of 5 stars. And then we watched Waitress in theaters, the movie musical, and it was fantastic. So I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Mick also really enjoyed it, which I was happy to see. And I watched it on Broadway before, but like seeing it as a movie is different because you get to see all of the emotion that the actors and actresses are portraying. Whereas when you're seeing it from far away in a Broadway theater, you can't see that much detail. And then the next day, I made steak with spaghetti, and I undercooked the steak. So, yeah. The next day, I made the herby Parmesan crusted chicken from Every Plate, and then we went to the Brooklyn Strategist to meet up with friends, and we played Everdell and Battle of Wits. And I did very well. I won both games. And we had dinner at Avli Greek Cuisine, which was delicious. And I just did a doodle of the things that I bought from the restaurant. The next day, we tried the meatloaf and recipe from Every Plate, and I also made a chicken pot pie. And then we watched The Boy and the Heron in theaters, which was so beautiful. And then on the 11th, my order from Every Minute a Story arrived. I didn't do any journaling this day, but the next day, I actually did a lot of journaling, but it was very personal, so I covered it up with this like weekly to-do list type of thing, and yeah. Then on the 13th, for some reason, I had the weirdest nightmare about a rhinoceros beetle. For some reason, I dreamt that a rhinoceros beetle kept getting to my eggs, like chicken eggs, and destroying them. It's the most, like, strange dream ever. But then I also put in some pictures from when I went home on the 27th. So I didn't have room to put it in on the actual day. And then here, it was my company had a lunch and gift exchange. And so I put a picture of the things that I got from the gift exchange. I got some teas, a picture frame, a mug, and some hot cocoa. And then I also took my very first hip hop class, which was really fun. I was so nervous, but I ended up having so much fun, and I'm definitely going back. And then here I started trying the teas that I got from the gift exchange. So this is the orange spice black tea. And I also went for a morning walk and I watched Aquaman with my boyfriend. It was 3 stars. And then the next day, it was our anniversary celebration. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years. So I put the pictures from the day, and then I did like little bullet points of what we did that day. We saw Wish in theaters, which was unfortunately not a good movie. And then we went to Flats Fix. So this picture is from Flats Fix. And we also went to Blue Stripes Cocoa. So these 2 pictures are from Blue Stripes Cocoa. And I continued trying more of the tea. So this is the mango green tea. And then the next day we went to see Wonka in theaters, and we went to IHOP to try their Wonka menu. So I just did a little doodle of the Wonka menu that we got, and also of Timothée Chalamet. I messed up the doodle a little, so he looks creepy, but it's fine. And it was 4.5 stars. I freaking love this movie. I want to watch it again in theaters. And then I put some pictures of us in IHOP on the next day, and I backfilled it with some random journaling about Doris Pilkington Gary Mara, who is an award-winning Marchu author. And then here, more trying of the tea, and then I just have a little bit of journaling about my 2024 Techo Kaigi, because this is when I filmed that video. And then on the 20th, my company had a cocktail party, so I just put in some pictures from the party. And here I had nothing to journal about, so I just put in some pictures of my niece. And the next day, the 22nd, I made japchae for dinner, which was so tasty. Mick and I really enjoyed it. And then I also got my order from We, which is an online Asian grocer. I'll link like my referral code down below. Basically, you'll get like $10 off your first and your second orders. And then if you order, I'll also get $10 off my next order. So yeah. Oh, and then we went to ShopRite, and I got these yummy, what? I got these beautiful flowers. Maybe I'm getting hungry. And then on the 23rd, my TCMC order arrived, so it included these 3 washi tapes, and I also got some pastries for Christmas. So I got a snowman cake pop, a blueberry fruit tart, and a guava turnover. Oh my god. I think I'm starting to lose my mind because I've been filming for over an hour. And then the next day, it was the Christmas Eve party at my in-laws' place. So these are pictures that we took at the party. And we also went to Sybil's and we got some pastries. And I tried the cheese roll for the first time and it was amazing. We're definitely buying that again. And then on the 25th, Christmas Day, we stayed at home and we watched Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, and The Grinch with Jim Carrey. And I also went to the local bakery and I got a pastel Gloria. And on the 26th, my boyfriend, he got pepper pot from Sybil's, which is a traditional Guyanese dish, and he ate it. And then I tried some and it tastes so good. I understand the hype now. I understand why it's his favorite dish. And I think I'm going to try to buy some of the ingredients so that I can make myself sometime. And you can see I misspelled pepper. I did peeper. And I said, wow, that's embarrassing. And then I also finished reading The Wolf Wilder by Catherine Rundell, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And then the next day I went home to my parents' house, and And I got a lot of mail sent there. So I had my book lover premium tea box from Chapters over here. And this was like the big sticker that came on the packaging. So I just stuck it in here. And then I put in this sticky note from Every Minute a Story and I just wrote down some of the other things that happened that day. Like I started playing Bear and Breakfast, which is a super cute and cozy game. And then my mom made some yummy soup for dinner. And I also got a donut from Krispy Kreme. And then on the 28th, my family and I went out for dinner. We went to a Chinese fish place that was so delicious. And we also ended up getting some free drinks because we had to wait so long for our dishes. We think that they actually forgot about our order. But it's all right because they gave us a bunch of free drinks. And then I think we also got two free appetizers because of this. And then we went to get dessert at this matcha ice cream spot. I also swatched all of the washi tapes that arrived. The next day, I was very sick. So I went and took a COVID test, and thankfully it came back negative. And I also started playing Ocean Heart, which is this cozy pixel game that I have been really enjoying. And I watched Bubble on Netflix, and it was very good. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I was crying so much. And the artwork in the movie is gorgeous. Then the next day, we had a 13-hour family game day. So I just posted pictures of the game and the dinner that we got. Then New Year's Eve, I went back home, and my boyfriend and I had a yummy New Year's Eve feast with salmon, rice, and green beans. And then we had persimmon for dessert. And we also watched Zom 100 and High School Musical. And it was just a really fun, relaxing time. And then my sister gave me this little bird from Target. So we put it up on our Christmas tree. And then here I have some journaling from 2022 because I didn't have a journal for 2022. And so I started using this on December 2nd. I have a holiday party at work. I wrote about that. My Simply Gilded mystery box arrived. I gave my aunt and my cousin their gifts. And yeah. And then here we had a Christmas party. I went over to my boyfriend's place, and again, so much little writing. I can't tell what happened. But then here, my aunt and my boyfriend and I went to see Avatar 2: The Way of Water, which was pretty good. And then my friends and I went to have Thai food at this restaurant. And that's it. So here I have a list of some shows that I wanted to watch. I don't think I really got around to this. I have some goals and some study goals, just random stuff. And then here I have some bucket list items, things I want to accomplish this year. And yeah, here on the grid, on the timetable, I had like a rough schedule that I had been planning to follow and that I never actually follow through with. So, oh well. And then the graph paper, I wanted to track things like the books that I read, the movies I watched, and stuff like that. But you can see I didn't fill it out. And here I have my favorites for every month. So in January, I was obsessed with OMG by New Jeans, Using the Hobonichi Cousin, the fresh restaurant that we went to in Philly, and sourdough bread. And in February, I was obsessed with TCMC, tech girl YouTubers, and Oiko's yogurt. So you can see the stuff that I put as my favorites are random, but it's just like what I was obsessed with during the month. And then here I was tracking all of the movies and TV shows and books that I consumed during the year. I didn't finish filling this out. So it ends with Puss in Boots, which I think was in November. So I need to fill this out, but yeah. And then I think that's basically it for this notebook. On the back here, I have some more TCMC stickers. I love her cafe stickers and bread stickers. It's so cute. And yeah, so that was my super, super long and chunky Hobonichi Cousin 2023 flip through.